and welcome to another edition of Craig Goes Cycling. It's been a bit of a busy week for me this week on the bike. If you watched my last video, I said how on the Sunday I was going to have a go at doing the Four Horsemen course on Zwift. I failed just before Christmas when I tried that, but I was determined that I was going to do it this time. It is quite a tough course. It's tougher than you realise, I think. You sort of look at it on paper, or you look at it on Zwift, and you think, yeah, a couple of climbs, finish off with the Alp de Zwift. It's not that bad, just take it steady and away we go. Well, it's a lot harder than that. Now, I did look at it initially, and I thought, I'll see if I can do it in a time of 4 hours. But then I started to look at the route a little bit and thought, no, 4 hours is going to be a little bit optimistic, I think. So I settled for a target of 4.5 hours and set off. And off I went. Now, before I set off, I did have a look at the course, and in my head, once you got to the top of Alp de Zwift, it was then all like 7 miles downhill and then about another 10.5 miles, and it was flat. So I get to the top of Alp de Zwift, I'm hurting, legs are aching, I'm thinking, I can't be bothered with this anymore, but luckily it's all downhill and then flat, so it's not going to be too much of a stretch for me. But as I'm coming down Alp de Zwift, I start looking at the amount of elevation I've done, and I think, well, hang on a minute, this doesn't look right. It looks like I've still got about another 700 feet of climbing to go. And it's right. You get to the bottom of Alp de Zwift, and then you turn right, and you just start climbing again. And I just needed the ride to end. I was looking at the time it had taken me so far. I was up to, I can't remember now where I was up to at this point when I got to the bottom of the Alp. But I started looking at the time and then calculating if I needed to get in under 4.5 hours, was I going to do it? Looking at my average speed and thinking, this is going to be really, really tight. And at one point, I didn't think I was going to make it. However, once you sort of finish you do get to the top of that, another 650 feet of climbing, it sort of levels out a bit. And then it's a bit of a downhill. And luckily, I came in at 4 hours, 25 minutes and a few seconds. I can't remember what. So I was incredibly happy with that. I conquered it. I failed the first time, managed to do it on the second time. So that was good. Really made me really happy to do that. But my legs were killing me for the rest of the day. Every single part of me hurt. I didn't want to look at the bike again for a few days. However, Monday night, I'd joined up to do Amy's Cycling Adventures ride on Zwift. So jumped on that. It was going to be about a 50 minute ride. Again, the elastic band was on, so it didn't matter what watts you were putting out. And I did it as a little recovery ride at sort of 130 watts. Did it for about half an hour, for 10 miles, I think also just over half an hour, and then bailed because it was getting a little bit painful on the bike. After 4.5 hours on the turbo on the Sunday, it was causing a little bit of discomfort, is the best way of putting it without going into too much detail. And then Tuesday night is another training session on Zwift, and then Wednesday night another training session on Zwift. Sally at UK Bike Performance is putting me through the ringer on this. I've upped it to 3 dedicated training sessions a week, which I was doing 2 last year, and then my Saturday or Sunday club ride as well. But now it's 3 full-on training sessions. The Wednesday night one wasn't too bad. It was sort of a zone 2, but I think it was about an hour and 10 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe an hour and 20 minutes at zone 2. It was easy, but you do start to get a little bit bored. I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit bored, so I stuck Netflix on and I watched the Mark Cavendish documentary again. So I enjoyed watching that. That did help me get through that session of just sitting at zone 2, like 145 watts for an hour. It's a little bit boring, and then the warm up and the cool down afterwards. Thursday night had a night off. Friday night it was zone 4 with zone 5 bursts. Again, it was about an hour and 10 minute session. So there was 5 blocks in that of 3 minutes at a time. So it started out 40 seconds at 200. My FTP is 260. So the 5 blocks of 3 minutes, they started out with 40 seconds at 235 watts, 20 seconds at 285 watts, so 25 below and 25 above threshold. So three of those in each block with an 8-minute recovery in between. And I felt absolutely amazing last night. It was brilliant. My legs were flying. There was nothing about me that hurt or anything like that. I was just absolutely on it, and I loved it. It was probably one of the best sessions I've had on the turbo trainer. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. Even the last block, I was thinking, I'm going to be, not struggling, but might be tiring a little bit. But I wasn't. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so it was a surprise, and I think sort of an overall out of a 10, I would have given it a 6 at the absolute most. So I was expecting it to be a bit tougher than that, but maybe I'm getting a bit more strength in my legs. Who knows? Legs and lungs are working brilliantly. And this morning, Saturday, managed to get out on the road again with Elliott from the PdC Cycle Club. I'm not going to say what PdC stands for because it's a little bit rude, and I don't really want to say that on YouTube. But if you want to know, ask me in private and I'll tell you, although you can probably guess. Yeah, so there's normally 6 of us in PdC, but it was just myself and Elliott this morning. Yeah, I think Gus, we didn't hear from him. Brett was absolutely worn out from doing too much running. Ethan was back up in Newcastle. Mark, I'm not sure, he just couldn't make it this weekend. So it was myself and Elliott, 45-mile ride down south, down towards Colville and Thringston and Lount, and then up through Breedon on the Hill, Castle Donington. So it was a headwind all the way out and a tailwind all the way back. So struggling on the way out, but on the way back just felt brilliant. Sort of cruising along 25 mile an hour, not really putting out many watts, not putting a lot of effort into it. It was great fun. So I'll show you, there's a few little clips that I took from that video this morning, from that ride this morning. So we'll have a look at that now, and then just have a little chat about what I'm going to be doing next week.
Right. Here we go. Literally, not even half a mile down the road from Ethan Elliott, and his nothing's connected to his Garmin.
Phone's connected.
According to his Garmin, he's got no heart rate, so he must be dead. How you feeling, Al? Dead. Okay. This would really upset Brett, because as Brett Belshaw would do, he would check everything meticulously the night before. He'd do a full service on his bike, make sure everything's ready, and he would never ever set out in the morning with stuff not working, would he? No. But Brett's a bit of a weirdo, so anyway, we'll leave it there and see how we get on in a bit.
Do I fancy doing what?
Up less.
Why not? It'd be nice to do it. Done it on Zwift often enough. So this is Elliott's idea for us to go and do, is it the Galibier or the Tourmalet? Galibier and Alpe d'Huez at some point this year. Which sounds like not a bad idea to me. Get a time off work, but have a bit of fun. But we're currently into another bloody headwind somewhere in Leicestershire near Colville, and I think I thought I was on a route with a bit of a hill. I'm not happy. I wanted it to be flat. Oh well, what can possibly go wrong? Nothing. What do you reckon, Elliott? What can go wrong? See you in a bit.
This is the best part of every ride. Coffee shop. Leo's in Shepshed this morning. Beans on toast and a coffee. Looking forward to this.
Well, coming through from Breedon, or from Lount all the way through Breedon, tailwind all the way, absolutely smashed it, loved it, hammered it through Castle Donington. Unfortunately we got hit by the lights in the middle, so no PBs for the Castle Donington section today. It's been a good ride so far, I'm enjoying this.
Scale up, is that be easier for you?
Well, it's nice and flat this way through Sawley and Long Eaton. So far, 35 miles, average of 17.5 mile an hour. We've just upped our average speed coming through Breedon. It's like 30 mile an hour through there, it's great fun. Through the little back lanes now, so we're slowing down a bit.
Does it feel the way it used to? Truth or lies in disguise, and I can't tell anymore.
surprise. Every time we come this way, just turn up, bloody train comes, stops us nearly every single time. It's the first ride of the new year. It's at the end of January now. You've not been out for a while. How do you feel?
Cold, really cold.
Yeah, it's not the warmest. It's not too bad. I mean, it has been windy, but we've caught a tailwind for the last
No, we're up to
15 miles.
4.5 degrees now.
4.5 degrees. I'll be in my shorts in a minute. Start stripping off down to meet special cycling cycling underpants. Right, it's been fun.
So that was my first ride of 2024 with Elliott. Actually looked back on my Strava stats earlier today after I got back from the ride and realised it's the first time I've been out with Elliott since the 11th of November. So it was a long overdue ride, and hopefully myself, Elliott, Brett, Mark, Gus and Ethan can get together and get a few more of us from the PdC Cycle Club out and get some more social rides on a Saturday or on a Sunday morning, because yeah, I've missed it with those guys. It's been a long time. Winter, it just drags on a little bit, doesn't it? You know, I think most of you are doing a lot more Zwifting. You know I am, obviously. I think it's good to keep you fit, and it's great while the weather is cold and wet and windy, but nothing beats being out on the open road. It's way more enjoyable than sitting at home on a turbo trainer at Zwift. So yeah, just looking at the stats from that this morning, so it was 47 miles, 2,283 feet of elevation, and 2 hours 40 minutes moving. So yeah, it was a good one. I think I set 13 PBs on that this morning, and about another 20 top threes on my KOMs. So yeah, really, I didn't get top threes in KOMs, but on segments, I managed to sort of get some new second and third best times on there as well. So all in all, a really good day out, despite the cold. And it wasn't, to be fair, actually, it wasn't that cold. It was like 3-4 degrees. So, but with my nice overshoes on there, nice thermal lined overshoes on there, my feet keep nice and warm. Nice fleece lined jacket, and I actually this is the first winter when I've actually had proper winter gear, and I found it so much more comfortable actually being warm and not having freezing feet after the first 10 miles and my fingers going numb after 5 miles. So yeah, normally I'd just have like a couple of 2 jerseys on with an undershirt. A base layer, and I'd have arm warmers and maybe some leg warmers, but I never had decent overshoes or decent gloves, and I always used to suffer cold fingers and cold toes, and it doesn't make for a very enjoyable ride, especially when you sit in a nice warm coffee shop and then you get back out into the cold and you have to start again. It's horrible. But I've invested in some proper winter gear this time, so yeah, it's made riding a lot more enjoyable. So yeah, I'll be back onto Zwift again tomorrow. Not tomorrow's night, sorry. Tomorrow will be Sunday, depending on what time the day this video goes out. I'll probably go out on a Sunday because I've got to finish editing tonight. But Monday is going to be another ride with Amy's Cycle Adventures on Zwift, and then Tuesday, Wednesday training sessions, Thursday night off, and then Friday another training session, and we'll see what happens on Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully we'll get some nice weather. It won't be too wet or windy or too cold, and get back out on the road again. Anyway, that's it for now. Hope you've enjoyed this little video. If so, just hit a like, subscribe, tell your friends, and also go over and have a look. That Instagram reel. Oh my God, it's 160,000 views now. God, I have no idea about the algorithms in Instagram, how it works. 160,000 views for my first post on that page. I'm never ever going to recreate that, so it's just not going to happen. I'm going to get a couple of hundred views on anything. I need reels after that, so unless all of a sudden I think of another funny idea, which I have had an idea, but it's going to take a bit of commitment for me to do it, and I'm not sure I'm prepared to do it yet, but watch this space, I might. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching.